Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to come out and interview for this position today. I want to thank Terry for coming out in the snow, braving the snow to pick me up from the Radisson Hotel. I was telling her when I was coming in that we would close school for this little bit of snow probably for 2 or 3 days. So I'm very impressed with the fact that she said to me they won't start working on the snow tonight, so that's very impressive. My name is Darren Slade. I've been an educator for 30 years. I started off, my mother was a school teacher, so I grew up going to schools, visiting her class as a young person. I said I would never become a teacher, something I didn't want to do at first, but when I graduated from college, there were no job. I wanted to just work for the government. There were no government jobs, so I was able to get a job teaching school. And I just loved it from day one. So I eventually became assistant principal. I was a principal in Baltimore City. I was a principal in DC for 18 years at the elementary, middle, pre-K through 8, and high school level. And I'm currently the assistant superintendent for 16 schools in Kansas City, Missouri. So the reason I applied for this position is that I just decided, my wife passed away close to my last year as a principal, and I was taking care of her for 18 years. She had diabetes and some kidney issues, so I didn't even think about doing anything else. But once she passed away, I decided that it's time to move on from being a principal. Most people don't remain in the principalship for 18 years, but I loved it so much I did. But once I decided to move on, I told my current supervisor that I was going to just be an assistant sup for 1 or 2 years until I felt comfortable to apply for superintendent. And when I decided to apply for superintendent, I just started looking around and I saw that Kalamazoo had some of the same challenges that I'm used to really working with. So that's why I actually applied to Kalamazoo. And I'm specifically talking about attendance issues, graduation rates, behavior-related issues, and just student achievement in general. So that's why I actually applied for the Kalamazoo Public School System.
Thank you, everybody, for having me, and good evening. I would like to first start by thanking the members of the board and the Kalamazoo community, many members of whom are here with us this evening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you. So in saying all that, I also realize that you have the privilege, but also the burden of selecting the best possible candidate to join your team. And the community, the role that you're playing in supporting and guiding the board in making this very difficult decision is just as paramount. Keeping that in mind, I believe in the role of a superintendent, both technical knowledge and skills as well as personal disposition and past successes must be kept in mind. So really 2 things to consider. What do I know and how do I put what I know into action? While what I know is important, how I put my knowledge into action is more vital because knowledge itself doesn't translate into student outcomes. KPS is a pre-K to 12 district, and I have expertise in instruction, policy, and leadership at the pre-K level, the K-8 level, high school level, district level, and the collegiate level through fellowships, degrees, licensures, and experiences at each of these layers. I successfully completed my executive fellowship in early childhood education at the Erickson Institute, which is a leader in this field nationwide. I'm an award-winning classroom teacher in the K-8 space, an award-winning high school principal, and a state-recognized district leader. And I'm currently serving as an adjunct professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago, where I'm teaching and coaching aspiring principals in how to effectively lead schools to success, a responsibility that I feel is fundamental to the role of a superintendent. I also consider myself a leader who's really focused on attending to district improvement by building the capacity of others, by focusing on building trust in order to distribute leadership, and ultimately creating a culture where everyone feels empowered and has ownership in the realization of the district's mission. In doing so, the goals of the district, in other words, student outcomes, become the passion of all and not just a select few. Additionally, I believe that we must attend to continuing progress and not interrupting great things that are already happening in a district while we're thinking about how to creatively think about dissecting a problem a little bit differently, or perhaps a different strategy to implement. I believe in going slow to go fast, and I'm committed to taking the time and putting in the effort and the energy that it requires to collectively build understanding of purpose and buy-in for new ideas and innovation. In other words, I know how to maintain stability while simultaneously creating the ideal conditions where members feel ready, willing, and able to embrace any necessary changes. And finally, I believe that the strength of any organization lies with its people. And therefore, building deep and strong and lasting relationships with all stakeholders become vital in any district improvement process. I consider myself a relational leader, and I rely heavily on my highly attuned interpersonal skills while simultaneously infusing learned and lived best practices to move the district forward. So for all of these reasons, hopefully some of these that I'll get to touch upon during the course of the interview, I believe that I'm the ideal candidate that you are looking for to join your amazing team. Thank you.